Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Leading Our Own Way. It's Friday here on YouTube with Holly Smith. We've had a fantastic week. I hope you've all really enjoyed. For those who are coming back for the fifth and final segment of the week, fantastic. But today we're kicking things off with a wild story of how I nearly lost my life eating, well, I think it was chronic stress. It was eating junk. I was eating junk because of snapshot of my life, of how I was feeling on a daily basis, just feeling shit, toxic environment and so on. But I was eating junk and just to fill in a hole, right? But I also I lost my gallbladder and I almost 20 minutes away from being in a coma because of sepsis. So that just, we start off by that particular point and we integrate it with some of the points she makes in her book. That leads us into a deep dive on the power of the food as fuel and how nutrition, Holly's fifth daily habit of happiness, for happiness, I should say, in her book, 30 Days to Happiness, and it plays a huge role in shaping our mood. Holly's passion for wellness started young. She was researching routines and watching YouTube videos at 12 years old. Not your typical 12-year-old. I know. We wrap it up by the inspiring conversation with her mission to spark a chain reaction of happiness that can spread to everyone. You just don't want to miss it. So if you're not already subscribing to the channel, make sure you subscribe. That's what all the experts tell me to say, but not at the beginning. That's what I'm doing at the end of the intro. So please subscribe. We're doing so well here at Leading Our Own Way, and we're growing. So anyway, here's Holly. You're going to love the final part, so stay tuned. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next week for the next guest. Where did nutrition play a part? Where did nutrition play a part in your story? You could tell probably where from mine with my gallbladder. I was just eating shit every night. I was drinking Coca-Cola every night to fill in gaps of the darkness that I experience on a day-to-day basis, going to bed at 1 o'clock because I didn't want tomorrow to come. And that's where my nutrition shite came in. Where does it come in for you?
Makes you realize, hey, you really are what you eat. Like, if you want a fulfilling, healthy, happy life, fix your diet. And I think, look, I'll be honest, growing up, like, I was that, 12-year-old who was on YouTube, not looking at makeup tutorials or, funny animal videos. I was looking at how to create an awesome routine and how to build habits and how to, exercise routines. And I was obsessed with nutrition. I remember being 12 and I was like, I'm going to be a bodybuilder, and I would work out every day. And I just loved it. Like, I loved the whole wellness routine. And it's funny because I'm still doing it today. And I think, not every 12-year-old has a desire for that. So I'm glad that I did, because it's built the habits that I have now anyway. But I think growing up, it all stems from your parents, really. My mum grew up eating really great food. She made us amazing lunches. At the time, we didn't want to eat it because it was like proper salad with beetroot, cheese, carrot, literally beautiful homemade sandwiches that you would buy for $12 at a cafe, and then fruit and something a little bit yummy. But she would pack us really nutritious lunches. She would make food from scratch with all her herbs in the garden and this and that. And I grew up eating really good food. I didn't have McDonald's till I was probably 10 or something ridiculous. So I'm very grateful for my mum for that. So knowing that, I built great habits eating really well. And I never ate junk food or skipped a meal or anything because I didn't grow up like that. But then as I went into my personal training and was interested in nutrition and bodybuilding and everything, I learned to track my macros. I learned, what was good, what was not good. But then I realized that obviously sometimes you're not eating enough. Sometimes you're not eating enough. Sometimes you're not hitting the right amount of protein. And I think as well, if I think about when I was burnt out, I was probably not eating enough protein either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was eating really well, but probably need to increase my protein or even increase my calories with the amount of, fat I was burning or energy at the time. But it wasn't really until my relationship with food changed was when I realized that I didn't have to feel guilty for, having a snack during the day or something like that. The goal was always to eat less, because that's what they taught you in the 90s, right? Just eat less and you'll be fine, right?
Yeah.
Drink lots of water. But yeah, now my coach, my bodybuilding coach, because I competed in 2022 or 3 in a bodybuilding comp. And yeah, I was actually 6 weeks pregnant on stage. So
That's
yeah.
insane. I don't have any pictures on that, so I can't show that one.
Oh, that's okay. Anyway, but my coach really taught me like how to track my macros properly and eat in a way where my body of what my body needed, and it was okay to eat like the snacks throughout the day just in the right way. And anyway, long
Mm.
story short, however you choose to live your life, you got to think about your nutrition, because the choices you make will fuel your brain, they'll fuel your healing, your health, your function, your eyes. It's just amazing. Like food is a healing source.
I agree. My change was getting rid of sugar, and it's not
Oh,
even. It's that word diet, isn't it? Is it a diet, or have we just invented fake food since the 70s? Should we have
yeah,
just, if we just go to whole food, if we just eat the food that was given to us on this planet? And this sounds very hippie-like, because I used to look at people like this, going "woohoo, you're woohoo" sort of thing. But the more I studied the brain, and the more I studied human biology, self-taught, I must admit, I've not done a PhD in it, which I plan on trying to go down at some point if I've got the time. But I think we've just, our minds, through distraction, we can talk about devices all we want, but at the top root cause of all this mental health, I believe, and you might have your own view on it, which would be interesting before we close this episode down. Um, we're distracted
yeah,
above the devices side of things because of the things that are in our food, which causes our neurotransmitters to act differently than what was intended from 7 million years of being the human form
oh,
being on this planet. Would you agree?
yeah. Like honestly, I've tried every single diet under the sun. I
Yeah.
went no sugar for a month. I've been fruitarian. I've been pescatarian. I've been vegetarian. I've been carnivore. Like I've tried everything, and
Yeah.
I loved it growing up. When I went to friends' houses, I'd be like, "What diet are you on this week?" And but that's because I had a perception of that these people look a certain way and they love their life this way, then that's going to work for me. But let's be honest, everything works, but not for everybody. And
Mm,
I got that from Louise Hay's book. She says that too. There's all these resources and all these things and all these diets, but it doesn't mean that they're all going to work for you and your body type, because we're all human, but we're all completely different with how we're made up,
yes.
right? And genes and, whatever. But you've got a good point there. With when I was like 16 and probably the lowest point, I wasn't eating very well at all. I was depressed and not eating well because I was sad and insecure and blah blah blah.
Mm,
It wasn't until I changed that and started exercising, the dopamine, feeling good about myself. It's honestly, if you want to succeed, you've got to feel so confident about yourself.
yeah.
If you can feel confident about yourself, you will absolutely ace everything in your life. And the food is not the same that it was 20, 30 years ago.
No.
The
Mm,
grain, the gluten, the dairy, it's processed in a completely different way. Like the bread you get from the supermarket isn't even the like normal bread. It's not even like what it was 30 years ago. It's
well,
got
it's
all the other things in it.
yeah. Apparently, the softer the bread is, the worse it is. Bread is actually supposed to be hard.
Mm,
If you, the softer it is, the worse bread it basically is for your body. I mean, you look at, I'm paraphrasing. Well, I'm going off other human biologists, but things like folic acid is sprayed on things. If you have a certain gene mutation, I think it's called MTHFR, you can't methylate folic acid into methylfolate. There's your mind racing, which is now categorized as ADHD in young boys, ADD in girls, mind's racing, but maybe quieter in the girls. But that's a prevalent gene mutation. 45% of the world population has that. My
yeah,
son has that SNP. Now I know
yeah,
there's two variants to it, and I've not
yeah,
gone that deep with him to see what variant he is. But we've taken folic acid out, mine calms down. Like,
yeah. There
so,
you go.
again, I'm not a doctor, and I obviously don't want to get into trouble on this podcast for saying things like that. And I'm paraphrasing, I think Gary Brecker, a human biologist. Um, but the things that I am reading as well outside of that, that seems to sum up those points. And I think, again, you've said before about everyone being different. I'm going to crash that comment slightly, not in a bad way, because we are all different, but 99.9% of our DNA is all the same as each other. You and I have the 99.9% the same DNA. So generally speaking, that small 0.1% is a huge difference in terms of, the little
Yeah,
integral parts of our body.
yeah.
But if we all do whole food, if we all do the food that grows from the ground and or
Mhm.
eats from the growing ground, would we all be healthy?
Yeah. But that's interesting, and it's a great question, and I believe a lot of anxiety and health issues, and especially in kids that young, are caused by the nutrition, right?
Yeah.
Um, and the thing is, as well, gotta be careful. Like, for example, if we eat everything like just meat and veg, and we lived off the land and grew it ourselves, making sure it's all organic and everything, would probably be super healthy.
Yeah.
But then again, right? I know someone who's been eating organic for 20 years and has an organic farm, and then she got cancer, got a tumor. So you just never know, right?
Yeah.
But you got to remember as well, like, even if you're eating organic and this and that, like, it's got to be certified organic. It can't just be organic. People can get away with anything anymore. So
Yeah.
again, obviously, eating organic is more expensive. It is a lot better for you. You've
Mm.
honestly, it's a lot to think about. You've just got to do what you want to do. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. Knowing
Absolutely.
what you know, yeah.
Yeah, no, go on. Sorry.
No, that's it. I was just gonna say, knowing what you know, you've just got to do what you want to do, because I think a lot of the time you get into a bit of a rabbit hole and you start stressing that, oh, you can't eat this or this and that, and then
Yeah.
life just becomes unhappy. So I think you got to pick and choose.
Yeah, and on that point, on Friday night we do movie night, and I lash out on some chocolate, just so you all know.
Yeah, it's nothing
So,
wrong with eating chocolate every
n-
now and then, in
no, 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 no.
proportion.
But I did lose 9 kilograms in 3 weeks from eradicating sugar, which was a great little moment for me because the fructose part of compound of sugar really, I think, brain fogged me. I was massively brain
Oh,
fogged. Yeah,
oh,
I
it's
wouldn't even
amazing.
remember certain names.
I remember being fruitarian. I was 2 weeks in, but the second week, my nose was running like a tap because of all the toxins coming out of my body. All the
Yeah.
inflammation in my body almost went. But even though I was still eating quite high sugar because of the fructose in the fruit and veg,
Mm.
um, my mental clarity, I felt like I was unstoppable. So
Yeah.
I remember, this is funny, researching on YouTube. It's so funny. I was like, I'm a fruitarian and I feel unstoppable. What's wrong with me? And all these videos popped up with if you feel like you're a superhero because you're on a fruitarian diet, this is why. And it's
Wow.
so funny now I think about it, but it's just because of the mental clarity. You feel like you're unstoppable.
Oh, I was seeing colours that I don't think I'd ever seen before on, like, the things in the distance when I was walking. Obviously I had seen the colours. I was exaggerating, but just those little details. I felt like I was clearer. Just very quickly before we go, because I know you have to go soon. The cancer point. So the person that you knew in your life who got cancer but fully was organic. I'm interested there because obviously cancer is quite prevalent in snapshots of our lives usually, and obviously things that could be external that other people have built and done and we can't really control. What do you think what do you think it was, understanding with what you know and what you've done your own research on?
I don't know. If you've read Louise Hay's book, Heal Your Life or Heal Your Body, she really
Mm,
talks about how your like your obviously your thoughts and your beliefs and your stresses and your fears will all create like any kind of like a
yeah,
sickness in the body, right? So it
of course.
depends on what you believe in, and I believe it to an extent. Um, I Yeah, you know what? I do. I believe emotion creates
Yeah,
like a negative impact on the body, if that's in the cancer way or
yeah.
unforgiveness. Let's be honest, it's unforgiveness.
I don't think it's even a belief. I think I keep saying think you can only believe in things you don't know, but the scientific research that I have read is cortisol enters the body. If it becomes chronic, that's when things can set
Mm,
the organs alight and the cells alight, and which obviously if toxins break down those cell membranes and get into the cells, into the mitochondria, I suppose that's where cancer can start. I guess I don't know. It's something.
yeah. Well, in Louise Hay's book, like she shares her story because she helps people like heal their bodies, right? She's passed now, but um, then she had ovarian cancer? I think it was. And she was like, okay, well now I have to practice what I preach because, so what does she
Yeah,
do? She like tried everything. She changed her diet. She only went full vegan, organic, um, exercised, did all her, acupuncture and reflexology. She tried everything, right? But what was what she did differently, besides all that, was that she went back into her past and she forgave every single person that
Yeah.
caused her harm, and she
So
healed herself. She came back 3 months later, and she was supposed to be dead.
and that is your day 12, isn't it? Habits of forgiveness.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've only recently began the thought process of forgiving the people that really hurt me. But I can't seem to escape going, but why? Why did you do it? You know what I mean?
Mm,
So have I fully forgiven? I don't know. I feel like I've taken the emotion out of the trauma, so I'm using it as
yeah.
wisdom, hence the podcast,
Yeah.
if you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
totally. Yeah, I think sometimes you've got to look at it from an out of body experience in a way where you're observing the situation rather than amongst it in all the emotions. So it's really good that you can see it for what it is.
Mm,
That way that you can actually see you know that why they acted the way they did, right? And what happened to them in their past, and it stems and it's a chain reaction. But something that really helped me to forgive people has always say like out loud, this is like an affirmation or even a prayer, a statement, whatever you want to call it. And it's what do I usually say? I say I choose to forgive this person, or I choose to forgive even if my flesh doesn't want to. So when we talk about like your head and your heart, let's say, or your soul and your body, um, our automatic human survival instinct is to not forgive, right? Because we're protecting ourselves, right? We're
yeah,
removing ourselves, just pushing it under a rug. But what our heart wants for healing is for you to say, I forgive this person, even if my body or my brain doesn't really want to. I choose to. And over a period of time, after you go through other things as well, not just this, you will eventually forgive this person because you're training again your brain
yeah.
to forgive this person, even if you believe you don't.
So neuroplasticity, right?
Yeah, use it for anything.
Yeah. It can work against you though, of course, can't it, if you start
Of course.
thinking the other way. But yeah, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. I completely agree. Look, I could talk for hours. So let's, if there's anything that that you think we should have spoken about, but we haven't yet, what do you think that would be? About whether it's your journey, whether it's life, what do you think in terms of happiness? If there's anything that you think we should have covered, but I haven't covered it, and yeah, what do you think that should be?
Well, who are your listeners generally?
The range seems to be 25 to 55.
Yep. Are they business
Um,
owners or general?
yeah, it's hard to know because of what I mentioned before about where the videos have gone. And now I've started to work on the SEO. I'm hoping my my analytics will be a lot clearer in the next 3 or 4 months, right? So yes, but the people that tend to be interviewing is people who have got their own business. They've made
Mhm.
changes in their lives based on the traumatic experiences that they've been through, and they're leading their own way by giving something to the world. So business owners, authors, personal development, motivational speakers, it's those type of people. Yep.
Well, look, firstly, I would say is if you feel like you're stuck and you're not making progress, it's probably because you're not in alignment with what you want to do, what your gifts are, and what you've been called to do. So spend some time with your higher power, or journaling, or just sit down and we'll write your want list. Write down everything that you want,
Yeah.
and then think, okay, well, how can I action this, and where am I not, moving closer? If you are stuck right now, it could be because you're attached to a specific outcome. When you're attached to a specific outcome, you're only looking for one result, which means you might be neglecting all the other ways and opportunities for you to achieve this one goal. If you want to build a $1 million business, there's more than one way to do that. If you want to build your dream house, there's more than one way to do that. If you want to meet this person, there's more than one way you can get there. So knowing that you're not limiting yourself. And I will say the only thing with wanting in life, I had someone say the other day to me, I want, and I never stop wanting. I just want more always. There's nothing wrong with wanting and having a want list, but
Mm.
there is a problem with not believing, with always wanting, because you'll always want more. but just knowing that everything that you need is already here on this earth. It just may not be the right timing right now. And you have everything that you need. You sometimes just need to ask. Ask the universe, ask God, ask for a sign. And if you feel in alignment, you'll generally feel happy.
Yeah. Oh, you've kind of nailed that with a piece of advice, which I was going to ask you to say, so I don't need to do that one anymore. So that was beautiful. That was awesome. You did mention in your notes that you sent over to me about me moving into your dream location. First of all, how does that look? Because you painted that picture to me in the pre-chat, and quickly, how did you get there?
Yeah, so my dream was always to live on acreage, like close to the beach. That was always like my dream. But if we go back a few years, the first time I ever wanted to move out of home, my dream was to live in a unit on the water where I could go for a walk on the water every day close to the city. And I did. I moved to Hamilton in Brisbane. And I did. I literally remember walking. I'm like, I wanted this years ago and I'm here. Same again with where I am now. I'm literally like on acreage, 20 minutes away from the beach. Awesome. And then we buy a block of land again and build our dream house. That will be one step closer. So yeah, it's just believing, writing it down, knowing that you're going to get there eventually, putting a picture on your wall and visualizing it. Don't force it. So when you start forcing, you're blocking all the manifestation and all the opportunities coming your way.
Yeah, love it. I'll take that one with me too. You also said that you're on the road to pursuing your dream. What are your future plans?
Yeah, so I think I've been called to, or I've been called to speak and share. And that's what I think, yeah, that's what I love to do. So I see myself living in my dream house. I see myself running these happiness retreats and speaking all around the world because I'm writing another book and that's what I want to do. But most importantly, it's about building the community where people feel connected and accountable to their happiness.
What is your next book about, if you can share?
It's about the happiness formula.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Very cool. Can I have a copy of that when you're done?
Of course.
Beautiful. Okay, well, I always end the podcast episode with purpose. I think there's deep meaning behind the word purpose for me, hence the title of my book, How to Lead with Purpose.
Yeah.
What is your purpose in life, Hol?
So my purpose is, I guess, it's obviously to help people wake up happy every day, but it goes a bit deeper than that. My purpose is to make happiness a choice and for people to be able to see that and for it to then become a chain reaction. So if someone actually understands and knows how to make happiness a choice, because you can't just say to someone, I'll just choose to be happy.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. You have to have those habits in place. Yeah. You need to have accountability in place. And if that person becomes happy, they can pass it on to the next person, the next generation, and it becomes a chain reaction, which is less suicides in this world. I didn't realize that the number went up with the amount of suicides that are happening on a daily basis, up to 9. Last time I checked, I think it was 6. Crazy. Now, that's what gets me out of bed every morning.
Oh, there's no better way to end the episode than that last statement you just said. That's going to be a snippet. I know it is. Holly, thank you for joining me on my journey. Thanks for joining us all on Leading Our Own Way. It's been an absolute pleasure. There's so much I can take away, but I know there's people out there that are going to take so much away from this episode. And it's powerful. It's powerful stuff what you're doing. I love your business. I love the book. I'm going to get into it very, very soon. I'm still halfway through this book, and I have a very strict rule that my son has 6, 7 books half open. I'm like, dude, you can't keep reading half a book. Finish it off. So I'm going to have to stick to my own rule. So it is on my list. It's going to be on my shelf being promoted every week. So thank you. Thank you once again. I really, really appreciate
it. This was so
anytime.
Fun.
We could do another one and have a part 2 in the future.
Sounds good.
Holly, thank you for joining us on Leading Our Own Way. Until next week, everybody else, another amazing guest who's going to join us and share their own individual journey. Everyone's been powerful so far. Keep coming back. We love you all. From Holly and myself, have a great week. Love it.
So fun.
Thanks for listening and watching Leading Our Own Way. so we can stay together forever and share more incredible journeys, please subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss next week's episode and what that amazing guest has to offer to the world. Please support Leading Our Own Way, and we'll get you on next week's episode.